Exotic fruit should not be this fascinating. Most aren't essential. Most aren't everyday foods. Many people go their entire lives without tasting them, and yet people travel thousands of miles just to find them. A fruit so famous for its smell that some public places ask visitors not to bring it inside. A fruit once prized by imperial courts. A fruit that hides hundreds of jewel-like seeds. And a fruit that looks like it belongs on another planet. Because these fruits were never just about flavor. They're about curiosity, discovery, status, and humanity's endless attraction to things we've never experienced before. Today we're exploring some of the world's most famous exotic fruits, not as ingredients, as stories. We'll begin with the most controversial fruit on Earth, then move through imperial China, tropical America, perfect natural geometry, ancient symbolism, explosive flavor, and finally, a fruit that reveals something surprising about curiosity itself. The deeper we go, the less this becomes a story about fruit, and the more it becomes a story about people. Few foods create stronger opinions than durian. People rarely feel neutral about it. They either love it, or they can't understand how anyone could. Long before most visitors taste durian, they hear stories. Stories about the smell. Stories about warning signs. Stories about hotels, trains, and public buildings in parts of Southeast Asia, asking people not to bring it inside. Then they finally see one. A giant fruit covered in spikes. More medieval armor than tropical snack. And then comes the aroma. Durian contains a complex mixture of natural compounds that different people interpret very differently. Some notice onions, others notice garlic. Others struggle to describe it at all. Yet something remarkable happens after the first bite. The conversation changes, because beneath the intimidating shell sits a rich, creamy flesh, unlike almost any other fruit, soft, dense, almost custard-like. People compare it to vanilla, caramel, almonds, and cheesecake. None of those descriptions are perfect, because durian doesn't really taste like anything else. And that's the secret. People don't travel around the world looking for another apple. They travel looking for experiences they can't find anywhere else. Durian became legendary because it delivers exactly that. Love it or hate it, you'll probably remember it. If durian is controversy, lychee is desire. For centuries, fresh lychees were highly prized in parts of China. Historical accounts and later traditions describe fresh fruit being transported long distances for elite consumers and imperial courts. Not because anyone needed them, because someone wanted them. When people are willing to move delicate fruit across vast distances before refrigeration, food becomes something more than food. It becomes status, luxury, a symbol. The fruit itself feels perfectly suited to that role. The rough shell opens to reveal something unexpectedly elegant, smooth, translucent, almost glowing. No dramatic smell. No controversy, just delicate sweetness and a refreshing floral flavor. Some foods become famous through intensity, others through refinement. Lychee belongs firmly in the second category. Papaya never became famous for being strange, which is exactly why many people overlook it. Because papaya isn't built around spectacle, it's built around usefulness. The fruit is closely associated with tropical America, especially Mexico and Central America, though today it's grown throughout much of the tropical world. Inside its bright orange flesh is an enzyme called papain. Papain helps break down proteins and is even used in some commercial meat tenderizers. What's fascinating is that people found practical uses for papaya long before modern science explained why it worked. Traditional knowledge came first. Scientific explanation came later. And that's a pattern found throughout food history. People often discover what works long before they understand why. Papaya is proof that not every success story needs drama. Sometimes something becomes important simply because it helps people. Generation after generation, some fruits are remembered for flavor. Others are remembered for appearance. Star fruit is remembered for a moment, the moment the knife cuts through. Because suddenly, a fruit becomes a star, literally. Most slices reveal a beautiful star-like shape, often with 5 points. No carving, no preparation, no artistic skill required. Just nature doing something unexpected. And that's what makes star fruit fascinating. The shape feels designed, almost intentional. Yet it evolved long before anyone cared about presentation, long before restaurants, long before cameras. The fruit itself originated in tropical Southeast Asia and is now grown throughout many warm regions of the world. Its flavor is light, refreshing, and slightly sweet. But if we're being honest, that's not why people remember it. People remember the surprise. That brief moment when something ordinary becomes extraordinary. Most fruits reveal themselves immediately. Pomegranates make you work for it. From the outside, they seem almost modest. A tough shell, muted colors, nothing dramatic. Then the fruit opens, and suddenly, you're looking at hundreds of ruby-red seeds packed into hidden chambers. The reveal feels almost theatrical, like opening a treasure chest. For thousands of years, people noticed this too. Across parts of the ancient Middle East and Mediterranean world, pomegranates became associated with abundance, fertility, beauty, and life. The symbolism wasn't difficult to understand. One fruit contains hundreds of seeds, hundreds of possibilities, hundreds of future plants. Humans have always searched for meaning in nature, and pomegranates seem to offer it naturally. Even today, opening one feels different from opening most fruits. Every section reveals another reward, another burst of color, another reason people have remained fascinated by them for thousands of years. Passion fruit doesn't arrive quietly. It announces itself. The moment the knife breaks through the shell, the aroma escapes. Suddenly, everyone nearby knows what's happening. That's impressive for such a small fruit. Native to parts of South America, passion fruit eventually spread throughout tropical and subtropical regions around the world. Today, it appears in drinks, desserts, candies, sauces, and countless other foods. The reason is simple. Its flavor is unforgettable. Sweet, tart, fragrant, intense. Not because one characteristic dominates, because several arrive at once. Most fruits move in one direction. Passion fruit seems to move in several simultaneously. A small amount can completely transform a recipe, which is why chefs and beverage makers love it. The fruit demands attention, and usually gets it. At first glance, rambutan looks almost unreal. Bright colors, soft hair-like spines, strange proportions. It feels less like fruit and more like something from a science fiction movie, which is exactly why people stop and stare. Curiosity takes over. The fruit seems to ask a question: what am I? Native to Southeast Asia, rambutan takes its name from the Malay word rambut. It means hair. Possibly the most honest fruit name ever created. Many people encounter rambutan for the first time in tropical markets. They hesitate. The fruit looks unfamiliar, and unfamiliar things naturally make people cautious. Then it opens, and everything changes. Inside is a translucent fruit often compared to lychee. Sweet, refreshing, comforting. The intimidating exterior disappears. The mystery dissolves. The reward arrives, and suddenly the strange fruit becomes someone's favorite fruit. That's what makes rambutan special. Not just the appearance, not even the flavor. The discovery. What makes exotic fruits fascinating isn't how different they are. It's what they reveal about us. Every fruit in this video evolved somewhere specific. A rainforest, a valley, an island, a place with its own climate, culture, and history. And yet somehow, those places can arrive on our tables, one bite at a time. That's the remarkable thing about food. Food travels. Stories travel. Cultures travel. Ideas travel. A person can learn something about Southeast Asia through a durian, something about imperial China through a lychee, something about tropical America through a papaya, something about ancient civilizations through a pomegranate, without ever leaving home. Because food has always been more than survival. It's one of humanity's oldest forms of exploration. Long before airplanes, long before the internet, long before modern tourism, people were already discovering distant places through ingredients. And perhaps that's why exotic fruits remain so compelling, and not because they're strange, not because they're rare, but because they remind us that there is always something new waiting to be discovered. A new place, a new story, a new flavor. The durian, the lychee, the papaya, the star fruit, the pomegranate, the passion fruit, the rambutan. Completely different fruits, the same human instinct, curiosity. And for thousands of years, curiosity has carried humanity farther than almost anything else. Food Simplified, because every food has a story.